Hey guys, we are going to have one more video on reporting structures. These are different than the first kind of reporting structures. These are impersonal reporting structures. So this is when we're talking about general knowledge, things that everybody is saying or that everybody knows or thinks. In your books, it's on page 76, so it would be good if you have your book to follow along while we go through this. All right, so we have two structures for impersonal reporting structures, and one of them is quite easy. This is the one that starts with the word it. Then we're going to add the passive reporting verb. You can or don't have to add that. Then subject and verb. And remember, these two things are never going to change from the original sentence. So whatever the thing is that everyone thinks or everyone is saying, we don't need to change the subject or the verb when we report it. It is important for you to know that these impersonal reporting structures, the reporting verb will always be passive. So make sure you remember that. It's also important that you realize we have two different verbs in each of these sentences. So the first kind is the reporting verb. So we're going to have verbs like say, know, think, or believe. And then we also have the reported verb. And this is the verb that whoever is being talked about is doing. So let's look at this example. People say that the EGT third years are very smart. So what we need to do here is we need to find two verbs in this sentence, or two parts of this sentence. The first part is that people say, and you'll see there that we have a verb. It's a reporting verb, say. The second part of the sentence is what people are saying, that the EGT third years are very smart. So we know the reporting verb is say. And if we're asking who we're talking about, it's the EGT third years. What verb fits with the EGT third years? It's the verb are. So that's our reported verb. And it will help you if you can identify with every sentence both of these verbs, which one is the reporting verb, which one is the reported verb, and what tense is each verb in. This is a really easy one. The reporting verb is in present tense. People are saying it now. And the reported verb is also present tense. It's something people know that is true right now. So, one more time, we have our reporting verb, which is say, in the present tense. We have our reported verb, are, which is also present tense. Okay. So let's look back at impersonal reporting structure 1. And we're going to try and fit this sentence in to that structure. So once again, we always start this structure with the word it. Then you're going to do the passive reporting verb. You can use that if you want, subject and verb. If you want to pause, try it yourself, and come back, we can check. So go ahead and see if you did this right. We keep it as a subject. The passive reporting verb will be is said. So that's some form of being with third form of the reporting verb. We'll keep that. And now we're just taking the subject, which is EGT third years, and the verb are very smart. Remember, those two things are never, ever going to change. And so we get this final sentence. It is said that the EGT third years are very smart. Okay, what happens if the tenses change here? So maybe instead of people say the EGT third years are very smart, we have a verb, people said the EGT third years are very smart. So the reporting is actually happening in the past. So we still have it, and I'm sorry, I'm just now realizing the it disappeared. So it's an invisible it, but every sentence should start with it, with the structure number 1. Instead of is said, we're going to say was said. So it's the past passive form of the reporting verb. It was said, and everything else will stay the same, that the EGT third years are very smart. Okay. So a couple things to remember. When we're using impersonal structure number 1, we always start with it, and the tense of the reporting verb, so said, think, believe, know, that tense is always staying the same as the original sentence. The only change is that it's becoming passive. So if it's present, people say, then we change it just to passive present of say. It is said. People said would become it was said. People have said becomes it has been said. People are saying it is being said. So you're just going to have to remember back to when you used passive or learned passive verbs, and that's what we use for the reporting verbs here. Also remember, always in impersonal structure number 1, the reported subject, so whoever is being talked about, and the reported verb, so whatever that person or that group of people is doing, those are not going to change from the original sentence. All right, structure number 2, and this one's a little more complicated. We start with the subject, so we have to ask ourselves, who are we talking about? Then we're going to add the passive reporting verb. This is the same as before. Now we add the word to, because we're going to follow it with a present or past infinitive. So this is to and the verb. All right, let's try it here. People say that the EGT third years are very smart. So we ask, who are we talking about, or who are people talking about? And it's EGT third years. And then we need to take the reporting verb, which is say, and put it in passive. So are said. Now we have to, and we take the word are, and we need to make it infinitive form. So are is just a form of be. So we have to be very smart. In our final sentence, the EGT third years are said to be very smart. All right, we need to look at a couple different things here. What if people said, so same as the last time I changed it, people said the EGT third years are very smart. In this case, once again, we just take the reporting verb, said, and we make it past passive tense. So we have the past tense in the original sentence, and now we're going to change the reported sentence to the EGT third years were said. So that part is exactly the same as reporting structure number 1. The part that is different is this second verb here. What if it's people said the EGT third years were very smart? So this means our reporting and our reported verbs are both in the past tense. And in this case, we need to use what's called the past infinitive of a verb. It sounds complicated, but it's actually quite easy. To do it, we have to, and then we say have, third form of the verb. So here it will be have been. The EGT third years were said to have been very smart. And hopefully this will help you. I would take a screenshot and study this if you can. So I made a chart for you. So we have the kind of reported verb. So the verb that the subject is doing. And then after that, we're going to have different kinds of infinitives. So if it's a present tense verb, like sings, we're going to change the infinitive to just the basic infinitive, to plus sing. If it's past, so they sang, Then we have an infinitive to plus have plus the third form, so to have sung. If it's perfect, so has sung, we do the same thing, to plus have plus sung, third form. And if it's passive, so maybe we were saying people said the song was sung. That would be a passive verb. So was sung, I typed to be here, but, and then we would say to have been sung. So, you can see that if it's a passive or a perfect verb, it's going to be a little more complicated. The first two are the ones you're going to run into the most. Present just becomes present infinitive, to plus the verb. Past becomes the past infinitive, to plus have plus third form of the verb. All right, I want to give you some time to practice. So if you have a piece of paper, grab it. First, we're going to take these 4 sentences, and I'm going to have you put them into reporting structure 1. So every single sentence will start with what word? The word is it. And pause the video, try and do these 4, and when you think you have them, you can move on to the next screen, and I'll give you the answers. Okay, hopefully you had a chance to do those. Let's go ahead and check the answers. And if you got one wrong, try and see if you can understand why you got it wrong. If you cannot understand why, you should come talk to me about it in class. So here are your answers. You can pause here and check, and then keep going, and we'll practice structure number 2. All right, hopefully these make sense. We'll move on to reporting structure 2. So take these same sentences, but I want you to put them into the more difficult structure. Make sure if you are not, or if you can't remember the correct form of the infinitive, you can go back and check that chart a couple slides before. So go ahead and pause and do these, and we'll be back. Okay, so if you're finished, here are the answers for those. So check them. If you have questions, come talk to me at school or message me. These are complicated but very useful, and I can guarantee you're going to have some sentence transformation with both personal and impersonal reporting structures on big tests. So please study these. Make sure you know them. We'll keep practicing them in class. And if you need to watch the videos a couple more times to make sure you understand, that's what they're there for. Thanks, guys. See you later.